Arabian society, that the Prophet ﷺ is going to be untouchable because he's an aristocrat, he's blue blood Qurayshi in Mecca, the tribe of Abd Manat, they're untouchables. So what is going to happen initially, that Quraysh are going to look for what? The weak from amongst those who follow the Prophet ﷺ, because in general, who's following the Messenger of Allah ﷺ? One, youth. The youth, that's very important. Virtually all of the Sahaba who become Muslim in that formative period are youth. And when I say youth, I mean Dun al-Ishreen, beneath 20 years of age. That is very clear. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, when I came with this mission, كَذَّبَنِي الشُّيُوخ. He said, the elders denied me, but it was the youth who took on my mission. The Prophet ﷺ said, first and foremost. Then the second are between what we call mawali and ariqa. Mawali are former slaves, and ariqa are those who are in bondage inside of Meccan society. They're the initial people who follow the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the elders, power brokers in society, are going to reap havoc upon all of them three categories. After the youth, then they're going to be ostracized, some of them in prison, like Sayyidina Mus'ab ibn Umair, not allowed to leave their house. Sayyidina Mus'ab, the youth of Quraysh, teenager, who was the most finest dressed and the most handsome of all of the Quraysh. He said he was a dead ringer facially for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidina Mus'ab ibn Umair, the one who was killed, martyred at the Battle of Uhud. Okay, never did he wear the same clothes twice, Sayyidina Mus'ab. You knew where he went in the streets of Mecca by virtue of the great perfume that he would wear, Sayyidina Mus'ab, because his mother was extremely wealthy. But when he proclaimed Islam, khalas, she imprisoned Sayyidina Mus'ab ibn Umair. Imprisoned him, wasn't allowed to go out. And we see that would be common with others of the youths. As for the Mawali and the Ariqa, they're going to be tortured, symbolized in the likes of whom? Sayyidina Bilal al-Habishi. Symbolized in the likes of whom? The mother of Sayyidina Bilal al-Habishi. Symbolized in the likes of whom? Al-Yasir, the family of Ammar ibn Yasir radiallahu ta'ala an, father, mother and son, all of them tortured for the sake of Allah. Father martyred, mother martyred. He has to what? He has to lie in order to save his life, Sayyidina Ammar radiallahu ta'ala. Because these are what are riqa, the lowest echelons of that type of very, very structured tribal society. But we see this is common, and you see this as a theme throughout the Quran, the weak and the oppressed. They're the ones who follow the prophets. As we asked, as in Hadith al-Bukhari of Caesar, when Caesar asks whom, he asks Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan, this is towards the end of prophecy. Who follows this man who claims prophecy? Hercules, the first or the second, people dispute. And who follows this man who claims prophecy? And is it the aristocrats? Or is it what? The weak, the oppressed, the low lives in society? And Abu Sufyan thinks, oh no, it's not the aristocrats, it's the low life. Because he thinks that's going against the Prophet ﷺ. And later on, Caesar answers every question. Why ask the question? And he says, when you told me it was the low life, he said, كَذَلِكَ الْأَنْبِيَاءُ. That's the nature of prophets. They're never followed by aristocrats, by the leaders of society. They're always followed by the downtrodden, the oppressed inside of society. The nature of what? Of Deen al-Islam. Deen al-Islam liberates. When we look at the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum wa ardah, that the great city of Islam, the citadel of Islam, was Madinatul Munawwarah. It's the city in which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam dies, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and is buried. And likewise, Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Umar ibn al-Khattab and Uthman ibn Affan and 10,000 companions were buried inside of that city of the 124,000 companions. The rest, they fled to the four corners of what we now know as the Islamic world, the Islamic world, because they built that world. That was a world that was built by one generation, by and large, the generation of the Sahaba. Okay, what we see is an amazing reality of those people, that when they engage every single society, that they emancipate the downtrodden and the oppressed, such that we see in the first generation who are called the Tabi'een, when we look at all of the citadels of Islam, from Sana'a to Kufa to Basra to Baghdad to Damascus to Cairo, for start, all of the citadels, including Mecca, with the exception of Madinatul Munawwarah, the imams of all of those cities were slaves, Mawali, who were emancipated and then became the greatest people in that society. One generation. The Tabi'een, Imam Hassan al-Basri, Imam al-Tawus, you can go through them, Imam al-Khurasani. One by one, every single city, and it was was the imams of those cities with slaves, emancipated, educated. They become the ones who hold what become the pillars of religion inside of that society. That is an amazing testimony to the reality of what جئتكم لأخرجكم من عبادة العباد إلى عبادة رب العباد. I've come unto you to take you out of the worship of what? Of slaves, yani, unto the worship of the Lord of slaves. Okay, that's what our first generation did. And we've always got to ask, because this, studying history, the human being, as Vico once said, he said the human being is history is an essential part of our identity, of who we are. But unfortunately, we as Muslims, as a generation, we have divorced ourselves from history. I.e., history no longer informs our identity, no longer informs who we are. No, we study seerah, or the great imams of the religion. That's supposed to inform who we are, how we tread the earth, how we deal with the societies in which we reside. And when we look at Islam and we look at the Muslims in our day and age, it is pitiful. At the best opinion, having a good opinion of our reality, we are in a very, very pitiful state. But it's not Islam abstract, it's us as individuals, because Islam is as good as its adherents, straight up.